containers for people who want to take away. There will also be just some dessert served, so as it comes out, do feel free to come up and help yourselves. We're now going to have a tribute section for Auntie May. People will get an opportunity to come up. I do want to start off two. Firstly, Rachel on behalf of Bertram, and then I'm going to ask Nadine to come up and speak on behalf of Fal. Is that right? So Rachel, would you like to come up? And Rachel is, are you Bertram's niece? Yeah. So Rachel is Bertram's niece, and Bertram was Auntie May's godson.
Thank you. So my uncle's asked me to speak today as he's not able to be with us. And as he said, he was Auntie May's grandson. Godson. So he says, today we gather to celebrate and give thanks for the life of our beloved Auntie May. Many of you know me as Auntie May's godson. This has always been one of the greatest blessings of my life. Yet I know that what I experienced with her was not mine alone. Every person here, in one way or another, was touched by her generosity of spirit. How she gave so much of herself and expected so little in return. Truly, no one here can say that their life has not been richer for having known our dear Auntie May. From my earliest moments until now, what stands brightest is her unwavering devotion to her Christian faith and to her church family at Ealing Pentecostal on Stanley Road. Every Sunday, without fail, she was there. I can still see her standing among the congregation, lifting her voice in song, that beautiful angelic voice ringing out through the hymns. It wasn't just singing, it was worship from the depths of her soul. As a child, I was mesmerized. She didn't simply attend church, she served. She read sermons, she led Bible classes, and when she rose to speak, you could hear a pin drop. There was a quiet authority about her, born not of pride, but of conviction and love. She knew the words she spoke because she lived it. And then there was her laugh, broad, joyful, and wonderfully infectious. You couldn't help but laugh with her. Even on the heaviest of days, her laughter was a reminder that joy still lived in the world. God, her Bible, and her family, these were her strength, her song, her very heart. From the time I was young, she would sit with me and gently, patiently, teach me about the importance of faith. She told me that having faith in God would change my life. Auntie May, you were right, as you so often were. Today, though we grieve, we also take comfort. I can only imagine her now, leading Bible classes, delivering sermons, and singing gospel songs in the presence of the Lord she loved so deeply. And I have no doubt that heaven is all the brighter for her voice. Auntie May, we love you, we celebrate you, we thank God for you. God bless you, and may you rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Nadine? Now, Nadine is Auntie May's niece, but she's actually speaking on behalf of Val, who is a good friend of Auntie May from Doncaster.
The two images just before this one was of Val. Val is a wonderful lady. She came on Fridays and she helped clean. She was a deacon, and after cleaning, we would have tea and scones. She spent some time with each other. This is Val's tribute to Aunt May. May was always the same wonderful lady, quietly spoken, and enjoyed a laugh. Loved the Lord, her husband Fred, two sons Steve and Philip, daughter-in-law Emma, and three grandsons. May was a very caring and generous person with everyone. Very hospitable, always invited people to her home, either to visit or to stay. May loved cooking and baking. I would then take it around to friends and neighbors to share with them. May would also invite people to dinner quite a lot. I remember that. I remember the washing up and preparing and the conversations and repeat stories. I remember that. It was more like a feast. Nothing was too much. Nothing was trouble. She loved her garden very much and spent a lot of time getting it right. And it always looked lovely. I remember the herb patch in the corner. So when we really need to get something spicy, we're going to pick something from the corner, whether it's thyme, rosemary, celery, parsley, you name it. It's in the corner on the right side. And don't be afraid of the snails, just brush them off and pick it out. In 1991 to 1992, Pastor Sid Anderson asked if I could help May and Fred in any way as they both had their own operations and needed help around their home, as it was quite a large bungalow. We got on well, so I started the same week on a Friday for 3 to 4 hours. It was more 4 hours. I remember very few years later, me and Fred went on an extended holiday, then went to America, Canada, and back to St. Vincent and Guyana. I looked after their bungalow, watered them many times, and some got bigger, and I did some bigger jobs. One day the phone rang. I answered saying, Mr. and Mrs. Squashy wasn't in right now. I'm just a cleaner, but I could take a message. The voice came back and told me, oh, you're not just a cleaner. Never say that again. You are our friend. And of course it was Fred on the line and reminded me the same when they got back. I once went to a conference with me, Fred and Pastor Sid's sister Joyce for a week. It was great. There were 4 meetings a day, starting from 6 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. Yeah, remember that one? Got on Regis too. May never missed a meeting. We tried to keep up with her, but we never managed it. They also took me to Royal Albert Hall one year as a treat to a Christmas concert. We stayed overnight at one of Fred's relatives. Then another time they took me to their private doctor at Sheffield, as I had a skin problem with my hands and feet. It wasn't serious, but they couldn't do enough. Then in July 1994, my mum passed away, and May, Fred and Joyce were on holiday. It was after Mum's funeral, Sid took me to one side and told me there had been an accident, and it wasn't good. Unfortunately, Fred never came home and passed away. And her best friend Joyce was also injured. It was a terrible shock. May was beside herself. It took her a while. Then May began seeking the Lord in what He wanted her to do. May got more involved in church, leading a ladies' meeting. Started a ladies' prayer meeting on Tuesday afternoons. May was asked to be an elder on the church council around 2000 to 2001. And I was asked to go to the church council the year after. May bought herself a little car. I think this was a micro 1.3, yeah. She enjoyed being independent. She used to go and visit people who were sick at home or in hospital. It didn't matter how far it was. I led our luncheon club on Mondays for 16 years with Sid and Jean, Sid's wife. We catered for 100 to 120 people, and they came to waitress and Joyce took the money as they came in. And they would go around and speak to every person and make some good friends. There was a time when May's niece Nancy, oh that's me. There was a time when Nadine came to stay for a few years while studying. May loved her there. Also Nadine's sister, Aisha, came for a while too. I continued to clean and help me on a Friday. We spent a lot of time together, being in the same meetings or at our home chatting. They also prayed on a Friday morning when Sid's sister came, I remember. I moved to RC in 2000. Jean and Sid also lived in RC. I also cleaned for their sister-in-law, Barbara, who was around the corner in a bungalow in the cul-de-sac. A few years later, Barbara went to live in Gloucester, and they bought her bungalow to downsize from 10 Queen's Court, that large bungalow with all the plants. May got on with everyone. She had a lot of time for people, whether in church or village or town. May got on very well with Ernest. Ernest was Sid's brother, if I remember yet, who drove our bus and used to stop at the top of the cul-de-sac and take May shopping down to leave her doorstep, as it was always heavy. Yeah, she never escaped. Who never had to say who Mary was because they knew, even in other churches. Last page. May used to counsel people in church and always helped citizens' advice for always giving up her time, helped out practically and occasionally financially too. Always kind and supportive. We started to get concerned when May used to forget things like locking the door or forgetting stuff in the fridge. Turning off the gas, and Sid used to take her back from church to check. As time went on, it became a bit worse. I think she left their hot spoon in the fridge, if you remember, Stephen. Was looking for it. May went to the bank and couldn't remember where she put the money and got quite upset. When Stephen came, he popped round to see us and the concerns also. He got the ball rolling with the doctors and a test done, and May was diagnosed with vascular dementia. Not so long after, to keep May safe, it was decided that the family would move back to London to live with Stephen before he gets any worse. May didn't want to leave her home or church, but it was the right decision. I also had to stop cleaning for May a couple of years earlier, as my husband was ill and needed me at home more. But May called round to phone and see if he needed any help. It was hard when May left, not having her to talk or advise or to say to Irene at. It was so hard when May left, not having her to talk to or advise. When packing up, they found the money she lost. That made us laugh. May used to say after Fred's death, she was ready when the Lord wants to take her home. That is true. She always said that. We'd say he wasn't ready for her yet, as he's still got work for her to do. And when he'd take her home, we'd be ready, when he's ready. It has been a long time. Indeed, it has been a long time. Well, the time has come. Our assurance is you are with your God and your beloved friend. And I'm sure the Lord would say, well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into eternal rest. May God bless my dear friend Mary and my sister in Christ. Father,
How beautifully said. I met Val when I went and spent some time in Doncaster with cousin Sheila and Fred in Bentley, in the bungalow. Lovely bungalow, as you say, lovely gardens. And it was very humbling to see Val come in to do the cleaning. So, that she set precedents that was an example to everyone else. And as Nadine said, Val became not just somebody in the community, he became a valued friend as part of the family. And I think that's one of the things that I find as a great example how she brought family in. Wherever they came from, whenever they came, she was always ready to include them. And that not just family, but friends as well. And as you can tell from the variety of people in the room right now, who I'm going to go around and ask them about their relationship to the Koshy family. So I'll start over here. I'll start with you. Introduce yourself and tell us how you knew my cousin.
My name's Mark, and I used to go to Ealing in the Coastal at the same time as my family. So I've known her for 30 years.
Hello, my name is Christine, and I met Stephen and his mum in Holly's End Church around about 11 years ago. That's how I know them. And we've been friends ever since.
I knew you were going to do that. My name's Brett, and I'm the husband to Auntie May's niece. Yeah. So that's how I know her.
So I'm Suzanne, so Uncle Fred was my mum's brother.
Okay.
So that's how I know.
I explained the quashing roughly linked to the little while. The thing was explained when she is already. You want to add?
Aisha's sister, Nadine, and she's here. We are the Rockcliffe, part of the Rockcliffe family, the maternal side. You will explain how we mingle. And grandfather was Aunt May's brother. So Avril Dolly Rockcliffe was our mother. Yeah? Aisha, my sister, has 2 children, Misha and Malika, and I have 3 sons, Christian, Caleb, and Cyrus, in one of the photos that you see. Thank you.
Mixie, so we've got Alison, who's known Auntie May for many years in the family. There she goes, so she would like to say
Hello everybody. I grew up with Stephen and Philip. Actually, Philip is the same age as me. I'm slightly older than him, but he's April of February. They lived on Sandringham Road and we lived on Pit Road, which is like a T-junction. So we were always in each other's house. And when I went to Broadmead, April school, junior school, so Auntie May was my teacher, her deputy head as well. And had some wonderful memories. I remember when my mom told me that I didn't used to eat white rice. And she said she couldn't get me to eat it at all. And she said one day I went to Auntie May and Auntie May had cooked white rice or something. And she put it on the plate just to see if I could eat it. And I ate it. So she got on the phone and said to Mom, "You won't believe it, I just ate some white rice." And Auntie May was like, Mom was like, I wouldn't eat it in her house, but I ate Auntie May's rice. So she was very upset about that. But anyway, we give God thanks for not my rice. So, but it was wonderful growing up with Auntie May and look back and wow, there's so many people, but it was good. It's good today. It was a lovely, lovely ceremony, and it was so good just to have everyone together, to meet so many people that Auntie May has some wonderful things to say. You know, when you look back at people like this, you say they leave a legacy. It's a real example for us, you know, as us coming up behind. We need to also leave legacy for the young people come up behind us as well, so that they have something to look forward to and aspire to. And that's something that Auntie May did in me. She, you know, she left you with that feeling that you had to be better. And she was always wonderful to me, and I just give God thanks for her.
Hello, I'm Linda, my husband David, my 2 girls, my sister, my son-in-law. My mother was Roma Mohammed. She was a good friend and discovered a relative as well of Auntie May. Known her all my life. When Auntie May came over from Guyana, she stayed with my parents. We were part of the 26th of December meals. Yes, we got involved in the washing up as well. Very close to her, she would, when my mother was unwell and in a nursing home, and she would come and visit her every week. And sometimes the two of them wouldn't talk, they would just sit together and hold hands, and that was enough. In later life, when I would visit her, before, when she was able to, she might not recognise me, but she would just hold my hand and just smile. And that was enough for us, I think.
Thank you.
Okay, I've written something for Auntie May, and it's a letter to her, actually, because Auntie May was a brilliant teacher, as we've all heard, and she was a role model. She was many, many things, and you've all heard that today. I'm kind of writing this letter to her, not just on my own behalf, on behalf of my family, but also on behalf of my mum, Roma, who many of you know and to whom many of you are related, but also on behalf of my granny, cousin Frances, because she also grew up, Auntie May also grew up with my granny. So I'm hoping that this letter that I've written comes not just from me, but from them as well, through the generations. My mum passed 8 years ago. My granny, 1971, 79, I think, something like that. And my dad in 2011. So we are kind of orphans in a way, but we had Auntie May as our mum. She was our family. And so are you all, and of course Stephen and Philip. So I've written it as a letter. So imagine, it's come through the post, it's even got letterhead and everything on it. It says, "Dear Auntie May, thank you, thank you, thank you. Auntie May, you taught me how to write a letter many more than 60 years ago. You explained that people like receiving news, good news, through the post. That even a postcard from someone's holiday brings joy and reminds you that they are thinking of you. So talking about teaching and things you taught me, and my first thank you. My first 8 years were largely spent with you. I hope Stephen and Philip feel jealous of that. I had those years. So much so that when you got married, Auntie May, you told me that your mum, Aunt Jean, had to defend you back in Guyana, as people were gossiping that there was no need for such a big wedding, as you already had Whitney. They thought I was her child, because she'd take me everywhere.
Her husband's first cousin. So I am second cousin and Philip are, we would say, our granddads, our brothers. And but from a personal point of view, Auntie May was very, very special to me, very influential in my Christian journey. I grew up with Christian parents, born again Christian parents, and there's many young people find their way and their decisions in life to find out their own identity, who they are, and life decisions. I went away from the Lord, and my decisions weren't in the Lord. But one day, I remember we always used to go visit as families growing up. We were very, very close. Almost like brother and sister. And with him and Auntie May. And we always used to go to church, and I always used to watch as a child Auntie May in church. I used to watch her. I would say to every adult watching it, children are watching us. And I about doing that. He wasn't being, and he wasn't unashamed of Jesus and his passion for the Lord. Like, why? Auntie May and I watched their marriage, and I used to observe his Christian life, and I'm so influenced by it. And I remember I used to enjoy, like everyone, Auntie May's cooking, her home, her hospitality, and I remember going up in my 20s. I remember going up to visit their home, and I was standing at a bus stop in Bentley, and Auntie May asked me one question, and she said, "Are you happy?" That life, because I remember standing there, and I'm so taken back. An odd thing to say. Are you happy? And big generation difference. And I remember just the bus was coming. She never said anything else. And I remember looking at Auntie May and thinking, no, you are happy. You are genuinely happy. You have joy, which is not dependent on your circumstance. You have something inside of you that I don't have. And I came back to London with this question stirring inside my soul. And that took me on a path of a journey. And through divine intervention, however we all want to call it, I ended up in the church, in a service. I heard the same message that I heard as a child. I heard about Jesus, I heard about the cross, the same message that we hear at Easter. I heard it repeated. But that day, I knew Jesus wasn't personal to me, but he was personal to Auntie May. It wasn't information to her. He was someone that she knew, like she knew her own husband, like she knew her. I wanted that relationship with Jesus. And that day, in my church, I accepted the Lord Jesus for myself. And I've never looked back through life's ups and downs. It doesn't matter what circumstance surrounds me. I don't care whether it's good or whether it's bad, whether I'm prospering or whether I'm not. It doesn't matter about circumstance. I have inside my soul this joy, this effervescent happiness that I know Auntie May had. I watched her, and even after I became a Christian and accepted Jesus, I'd still go and visit Auntie May. You know, I was working in the corporate bank, my career went off, up, wherever it went, and I'd still go and visit my auntie. I'd love to be around her, and I saw this Christian life. I would go with her to go and visit the cancer patients and hospital. I'd see her visiting people in the community. I watched her live out her Christian life, and she continued to inspire me. And, you know, this day I just didn't want to leave. I didn't know I was going to say all of this, but I didn't want to leave that part of her legacy aside because she has impacted me. And through my life, as I've gone on at being a Christian, the lives that the Lord has, in my sphere, helped me to talk to about Jesus. Through my church, people that I've encouraged, they are Auntie May's legacies as well. And, you know, our legacies do live on, and those of you in here, some of you are Christians, some of you are on a journey. I do pray that things that you hear about Auntie May that you so love and you think, why was she so different? Jesus played a fundamental part in that, and that you can have that in you as well, through your own personality, through your own experience. Jesus can become real to you as well. I just want to give honour to her for that part that she imparted to me and that conversation she gave me at that bus stop that day.
Hello. My husband is Auntie May's nephew. I hope that's right. My abiding memory is that Auntie May made one of our wedding cakes. Also, Uncle Peter is here. And it was very good that she made it because the main wedding cake went missing. So she saved it.
You hide it behind that hat. Hello, everybody. First men's day in 1992 when we studied together at SOAS, School of Oriental and African Studies. And when we graduated in 1995, that's when I first met Auntie May. And I've since been to the house to see her, and all I remember is her big smile. I'll never forget that. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Jasmine. I'm Uncle Fred's great niece, and Stacey is obviously granddaughter. She is Uncle Fred's sister, and I'm Heather's daughter. Sadly, I don't remember a lot of memories of Auntie May, but I do remember her house being pasta. I do remember her bungalow. And I do remember a little bit about her life, but it's nice to hear the stories that people have said, and it's nice to remember the life of the next generation.
Thank you. Time's not on our side, so I'm going to skip a few people. Sorry. Can I have one from this table?
My father's forcing me to speak, and I'm usually very quiet. I'm usually very quiet. My father's forcing me to speak. Still can't hear me. Okay, I will stand.
Thank you.
I guess this is what my legal training was for. My father's forcing me to speak. My father is Uncle Fred's brother, which makes me Uncle Fred and Auntie May's niece. And last night, when I was with my aunt Octavia, who is Uncle Fred's younger sister, my father's sister, I gave a story about Auntie May that I hadn't told anybody before. My last conversation with Auntie May was probably in the early 2000s, shortly after I married my husband Kevin, and Auntie May asked me a question. She always asks questions. Auntie May asked me if Kevin and I were considering children. And I said, Auntie May, I don't know if I want to have children. And she simply said, children make marriage sweeter. And honestly, the 2 children that I have are the best things I've ever done. So thank you, Auntie May.
I'm Beverly, and I'm Uncle Fred's niece. Octavia is my mum. And in terms of memories, we have lots of memories. I remember when we used to go to Carshalton, because Auntie May used to look at, we used to all go in the holidays, between the siblings, which is my mum, Auntie Stacey and Uncle Fred. And we grew up as, although we were cousins, we were like brothers and sisters, so we used to spend time on our holidays. So I just remember her looking after us and making sure we were fine while we were with her.
Hi everyone, I'm Sheila from the North. Uncle Fred is my cousin. My mum and Uncle Fred cousins. All that's been said about Auntie May, I underline, I underscore. One thing that probably hasn't been mentioned about is that she loves to sleep as well, Auntie May. And one memory, I've already told the story to somebody, and one memory that I have was, I think Uncle Fred was working somewhere. We had a cousin who was over from Beckway and was staying over in Wembley. And she was going to come to Doncaster to visit and spend some time with Auntie May. So I offered to come and pick her up from Wembley And I was insisting on just driving straight up down to Wembley, turn around and come back with myself. It was going to be a quick drive. Auntie May insisted on coming with me to keep me company. From the time we left the house, probably 10 minutes into the journey, Auntie May was asleep. And Auntie May slept the whole journey. Stand up, I'm sorry. Any better? No?
Come this way.
From the time
It's just that before the mic is a bit far away, so it's just too far away, that's why. Yeah.
so much more left the story now. Is that better?
Yes.
From the time, as I said, we left, probably about 10 minutes to the motorway, and she was already asleep. And she slept the whole journey until we got to Wembley. Then she woke up, picked up, I could turn around, fell back asleep. She's great company.
Hi, good afternoon. My name's Chris, and my brother is Wade, and my sister is June, and we're the children of Aunt May's cousin Nova. And some of the stories have already been stolen today that I could have said. Philip mentioned one about going to worship at the Royal Albert Hall. And I just remember, like you said, about the packed lunches, the guy in his patties. And there was always times when Mum used to say we're going to visit a relative, but whenever she said we're going to visit Aunt May and Uncle Fred, we was there. We was just gone. We was straight there. And to Philip and to the family, to Stephen, to everyone, we just want to say thank you for Aunt May and for Uncle Fred. We remember them dearly, very, very fondly, and thank you.
I'll make it brief. On this table are the Seeley family. I'm one of the Seeley children. I'm the eldest. And these are the Rockcliffe. So we're two families. We're one family, but two names, I should say. Mr. Rockcliffe, Sir Rock, as you heard earlier today in church, was the father of Trevor and Brian. Mark's not here. And Osman, who was one of his youngest children. They were my uncles. My father and his brother were my grandmother's first two children. So they were the Seeleys. And then she later married Sorok. So we inherited Sorok and all his root, so to speak. So I grew up knowing them all back in Ghana. And then when I came here in 1962, we got together again. And as I said before, I went up to Doncaster a few times and spent time with Cousin Sheila. She was teacher Sheila to me at the time. I went to Cousin Sheila. But I have very fond memories of the times we spent together. And I admired her because she had resilience, determination, and passion. Passion for our Lord Jesus Christ, and passion in the services that she provided to other people, to children, in her role as a teacher. If you can imagine in the early 60s, her coming to London and retraining, because she was a teacher at home, to become a teacher and teaching in South London, as it was thick of it then. And the courage, determination, and resilience that she, that she represented to do what she did. Wherever she went, she made an impression. She had an impact on children's lives, on people within our church parish and family. And lots of younger family came to England, and she would welcome them, as Wendy said earlier. She met her at the airport with a coat, because we all came in our fancy summer frocks, didn't we? Totally unprepared. But that was the nature of this woman. You know, what more can you say? You've all heard this afternoon, this morning and this afternoon, of the type of person she was. She demonstrated the Spirit of Christ. She demonstrated love and care. She demonstrated determination. She encouraged. She lifted up. And we will always remember our cousin Sheila. She will always be a name talked about in the families. And we give God thanks. And we give thanks to Stephen, Philip, and the family for the care. And their love represented what she gave. They gave back to her in her latter years when she needed that same help, love, and support. So well done, Stephen. Well done, Philip. Grandchildren, Emma. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Stacey. It's lovely to hear how all of you can say exactly how you're related to Auntie May. I can't tell you that. I just know, as long as I know Auntie May, she was always Auntie May since I was a child. And my mum used to tell me that when she left Malaika and she went to study in Carnegie, she went to stay with her cousin, Auntie May. So, for us, she's always just been Auntie May. And I've grown up with those lovely memories of going to Auntie May's house in Carshalton and jamming on the piano with Stephen. And all of us, when you say that she had a lovely children, making so much noise in the house with Beverly and Jennifer and everybody else, not that she was just Auntie May. She loved it. She would smile and be happy just watching us all having fun and enjoying ourselves. My mum can't be here today because her sister passed away and she's on her way to that funeral in Guyana. And my brother lives in Vancouver. He asked me to write this in a card, so I'm just going to read it to you. Auntie May, thank you so much for bringing me to Christ. I will forever be grateful to you for the time and kindness you spent guiding a young and inquiring heart. Your generosity and love changed the path of my life forever. I will hug you one day and smile and laugh with you again. Love, Darren.
Hello everybody, my name is David. Roma's son, and you've heard quite a lot about Roma and Auntie May's relationship from part of the family that spoke earlier on. What can I say that hasn't already been said, other than she's an angel. Auntie May is an angel, and she lives on in Stephen and in Philip. And I want to thank you guys because that unity brought me to tears. It was nothing that I've ever experienced before. It was spoken with intelligence, that was spoken with love, that was spoken with compassion, and that wicked humour that she had from time to time, and that laughter that came with it. So thank you, and thank you for bringing us all together. It's a celebration, and it's not sad, as much as it brings tears to our eyes, but just listening to some of the stories and the memories that we have of her. Love and intelligence are all of those things that are bringing people together. And what is it without us as a family of bringing people together? There's so many things going on in this world at the moment that divides us and want to tear us apart. And if we allow that to continue, then we go nowhere. So, guys, Stephen, Philip, you will continue her legacy, and I have no doubt about that. And I pledge also to spend more time with you and continue to learn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone. I think I know at least half the people in this room, but for those who don't, she was my grandma, and Uncle Phil's son. Feels really tough. I wanted to get up to do two things. One, to say thank you, and one, to ask for a favour. I found the last couple of years quite difficult. I've been working really hard to preserve the memory of my grandma, because dementia is a horrible, horrible disease. And towards the end, I didn't feel like she was the strong, independent, friendly baker, listener, conversationalist, and child of God I remembered. So it's been really difficult trying to spend time with her. Today has been really, really helpful. So I want to say thank you to everyone who shared a story, because it's brought my grandma back to life in my memory. So thank you so much. The favour I want to ask everyone in this room, just before the end of the weekend, is to ask someone about how they grew up, or a memory. It's great that we can be in these rooms and share stories when people are gone. And I think everyone as individuals, we don't think yourself is interesting, but other people do. It was so important to other people in this room that I'd like to ask everyone in this room, before Sunday, before the end of Sunday, before you go to bed, just ask someone a story about how they grew up, a memory. And if you're old, don't expect it to be your kids. And if you're young, don't expect no one's going to ask you. I just want everyone to come together to try and preserve these memories, because it's so important. So we can have moments like this and remember them, so we don't lose the stories. That's really what I want from all of you in this room. If you could please go to me and just do me that favour before the end of the weekend. Just ask someone a story about how they grew up. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time today. Thank you to the caterers for providing the food. And thank you to Stephen, that mum, for planning for this, and for all the family who have helped over the last few days. It's been incredibly supportive. Thank you very much.
Well done. Thank you, Ben. Actually, I've been proud to be standing here listening to what you had to say. I just want one last thing I want to say about family. There's a diverse group of people in this room today. There's the Ghanese route, the St. Vincent route, and the English route, and maybe a few others. Okay, and maybe a few others that I'm not aware of. But one thing I know is that my cousin would demonstrate what I would call love and unity. And while today we're celebrating her life and the example and legacy that she has left behind, I pray that each one of us here will take responsibility for keeping the links and not lose. I know we all live busy lives, but it shouldn't only be at a funeral that we come together and remember. As Ben said, write your story. Tell your children, especially your grandchildren. I always say to my grandchildren, never forget where you came from. Because where you came from is the foundation that was laid by our elders, and it has built us up to where we are today. That's why I know my cousin was a pioneer in this lifetime, and I know many of you here will be achieving because of her love and her guidance. And today we give God thanks for the woman she was, the child who became the woman that most of you got to know. Thank you all very much for this opportunity to share. And please do continue to keep the links together. The chain is broken, but we join it again. Not me, but you, especially the younger people in this room. Thank you very much indeed.
Did you want to say something, or on behalf of your mum, cousin Joycey?
Hello there, my name is Philip. I am Jocelyn's son, which is a cousin to Auntie May. And really, I didn't have anything to say in that it's all been said. We recognise that Auntie May is kind of the perfect sister in Christ, wouldn't you agree? The way she led her life, absolutely awesome. And I can tell that a few of you have a May-shaped hole in your heart at this time. And there's a piece of scripture that I just adore. And I pray that you would take this to heart. Go home and read it yourself, because it's just telling the truth. It comes from 1 Thessalonians 4, 1 Thessalonians 4, verse 14 to 16, and it says, For we that Jesus died and rose again, and so we believe that God will bring with Jesus those who have fallen asleep in him. According to the Lord's word, we tell you that we who are still alive, who are left until the coming of the Lord, will not certainly precede those who have fallen asleep. For me, I look forward to seeing Auntie May again one day soon. Amen.
Anybody who would like to say anything? Colin? Cousin Joyce and Colin.
Hello, my name Jocelyn Charles. I was born in Berbice and married somebody from my country. I'm talking short, but because I have a stroke and I can't speak very well. But I got married to one my country, and then I had to leave my Berbice and live my country. And there I met the maid, we call her Sheila, or pastor. Honestly, you know when she saw me, you think you're hard, you met me, but how? She grabbed me, she heartbreaking. Oh my goodness. I don't want to cry, but this is my mom May is like that. And when my husband died, and she did look don't touch her. Every week, me or Uncle John, Fred would call me. How are you? How are you getting everything? You never left me out. And this man said, there's a lots of stories I can tell you, but took time, it did not take 2 hours or there. But this man said that we were going to, they talked about big going the job. Roundabout west or roundabout, and we everything every Christmas, every Easter, we just may come organize it, and we park a car, my friend, my son and daughter, and friends, and we park a car and go out we were because I don't remember things, and it's such fun that we had at Westminster Hall when the Easter comes. And I don't know what the gentleman named, because I like to see that that he was there when we were there, because every Easter we go to Western, and when we finish eating, sharing food in one car to the other car, sharing thing, and when on that done, we got the surprise and we enjoyed that day. But I can't not express anymore what everybody said, because that's what she is. She's beautiful, she's kind, she's everything else. I can't how words say. And I miss her very much. And that's what
My brother's making his way, and as he does, I want to say a few words, so I'm going to grab the opportunity. And nothing I'm going to say is any different or new to what you've heard today, but I feel I just want to say it in my way. Auntie May lived a long and remarkable life. 93 years filled with faith, service, generosity and love. Though the last decade of her life was shaped by dementia, we remember her not only for those years, but for the decades in which she was vibrant, engaged and caring, presence at the heart of our family. Before her illness, she lived fully and purposefully. As a teacher and as a deputy head, she poured her wisdom, patience and dedication to generations of children with her today. She was also a committed Christian and an active member of the churches which she joined, where her strong faith and steady moral guided many people, and in fact everything she did. And we've heard so much today about growing up under her warm hospitality. Her home, or I could say their home, the home of her beloved husband, my Uncle Fred, was always open. December the 26th, as people have said today, which was Stephen's birthday, it was Boxing Day, but it was actually the day we gathered. And poor Stephen, we sometimes forget it was his birthday, because it was just the day that we all gathered together to celebrate as a family. Their home was always open, a place of laughter, nourishment and comfort. Her cooking, well, we've heard a lot about that today. Her welcome and her ability to make everyone feel cherished are memories that will never fade. Even after Uncle Fred's tragic passing in 1994, she continued to carry herself with strength, grace, and quiet resilience. Auntie May was creative to the core, an accomplished seamstress and a craftswoman whose hands were always making, mending, or creating beauty. But more than the things she made, it was the life she shaped around her that's left a lasting impact on me and so many of us here today. She became the moral linchpin, really, of our extended family in the UK. The moral linchpin. The person whose example reminded us of what kindness, faith, and integrity truly look like in life. We honour her whole life today. I honour her whole life today. Not defined by her final years, but by the decades of giving, loving, sharing, and nurturing that came before that time. Auntie May leaves us with a legacy of strength, compassion, and unwavering love. She will be deeply missed, but fondly remembered, always.
Just want to say, Ben touched me what you said. About 6 months ago, my daughter Eva said she wanted to watch my wedding video. And we watched it, and it was Auntie May speaking. And I said, Eva, that's Auntie May I remember. And I really want to say to Philip, Stephen, Emma, Ben, George and Morgan, I know the last few years have been really tough for you guys. And I'm hope going forward, I'm going to try and be more of support for you guys going forward now, because I know the tough times are now coming because you lost your mum. I want to say I want to be there for you. And I'm sure that goes for all the family, from both sides of your family. They will be looking out for you now, because I know the times are going to be tough, but you've got the memories. And it is true what people say, in time, you do look back and you will get to a point where you will be able to look back and smile about your mum and all the things that she told you. So, but I want to be there with you as you go through the darker moments. Okay. But thank you for today. I'm glad your family, Philip and Stephen in particular, used to fight when we were kids. Auntie May was also my teacher. So in your program, there's a picture of her when she was teaching. They are all my teachers. Miss Hannaford, Mrs. Lewis, Mrs. Browning, Mr. William. They were all my teachers growing up. So to see your childhood just there, it makes you realise Auntie May was double influencing me, not just my aunt who used to correct me to speak properly. That's why I was so nervous in church today, because I know she was watching me. Do that really. But yeah, all those teachers, she really was an influence, along with my dad and my parents, and she really motivated me to study. So I owe her a lot, and what I want to do is to repay that by being a good cousin, uncle, to the brothers, to Ben, to George, to Morgan, to Emma. I want to hope I can be there to support you guys. Thank you.
There is dessert and drink, so please help yourself. But is there anybody else?
It's been an emotional day today for me, but I couldn't leave without saying thank you for all of the people for you to come and celebrate Mum. At one point I thought there's going to hardly be anybody here, and we've overcated. And look at this room, look around you, all these people here talking about, and that's been so special. So thank you for giving up your day and days for some of you who've come from afar, from St. Lucia, from Switzerland, from up north, from Doncaster and Nottingham and Leeds. Thank you so much for coming. How precious your time is. And look, I wanted to say, I'm going to leave this. That's all right. I'm going to shout. I think it's easier for me to shout than to have the crackle. So, I wanted to say thank you for all the people that have helped to pull this day together. Some of you have given financially to help us to cater and to pull this together. Thank you so much. I'm not going to name names because there's too many names of the people that helped us, and I don't want to leave one out and everybody feel, so I'm not going to name names, but I really want to thank you as a family for having our back and actually coming together. People have helped organise the DJ, organise the tables, the setup crew, our friends who gave up their day to come and set this up because we couldn't set it up ourselves because we were at church. Everything that has happened today has happened because of the love in this room. Okay? And I just want to say that you have honoured my mum so much, and I'm so grateful. I want to say one more thing in this mix. I went to Croydon Archives. My mum was one of the first black teachers in Croydon. She was in the newspapers. She did all kinds of things. There's not a mention, only one mention of her in that. We need to honour each other, and you've honoured my mum today. And we need to make sure that we get our stories out there because our journeys are rich, beautiful, creative, and that's what Mum was. She was an exemplar of that, and I thank you for honouring that. Let's honour one another. Let's honour and continue to begin to write our stories and put them out there, so never again will be a generation that is lost in history. Because my mum was really significant. She was significant in Croydon, she was significant in Doncaster, and she was significant to us. And I want to thank you for really showing me that that's the case.
I just want to say thanks to everyone that's come today. I want to echo so much of what's been said already. Most of it has been said. But I want to say thanks to everyone for coming to honour Mum and share this day with us. One of the things I've really taken away is how much family and friends were important to her, and the different links of different people around. Some of the stuff that Mitzi's already said, some that David said, some that Colin said, is actually less, and some that Ben said, is not. Let's not take those links for granted. My mum never did, my dad never did. They were all about having strength with family and friends. And so one of the things I would like to take away from this is to reinforce those links and not take them for granted. Life can get in the way. You could spend your time trying to earn money, trying to do what you need to do to survive in life. But one of the things that this experience has taught me is actually it's the people around you that you love that help you get by in life. You can't do it on your own, and you can't do it without the people that are around you. And it's really brought home to me in the last 6 weeks how important everyone in this room is. So that's what I want to say. Thank you very much.
I'm told, I've never been there, there's a Black Archives in Brixton. And your mom's story needs to go there. I'll find out a bit more and let you know. But yes, there is a Black Archives. These memories we need to put where they can be beneficial to other people who come after us. So I'll let you know exactly where that is. Okay? Right, just can I say a big thank you to everyone. There is afters here, pine tart, cake, and salada. See? They've kept the tradition. And the thing that we've had today, a typical guidance fair, which Stephen insisted on. So do enjoy the rest of the afternoon. And thanks again. Thanks for listening, for partaking, and sharing the love. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just say one more thing. Thank you to Mitzi and Heather for just coordinating this event here at the hall. They were asked to do it at short notice, and I think they've done an exemplary job. Oh yeah, one last thing. I want to say thanks to Faye for the wonderful catering. Faye and her team. I have to say, we all know that Mum's food was legendary, but you did a good service and a good tribute in what you laid on in her name. So thank you very much.
I know that the music is being played low because everyone was having a bit of